Hey, is it true that you can see through walls with Wi-Fi signals?
Yeah, and you can set it up.
Hey.
Home base's science team is stumped by the data we collected, so we're just gonna run this mission on vibes. Dark Voyager is kind of villain-coded, so I'm thinking we should make sure he can't find anything he's looking for. I don't know. Let's shoot down his drones? When in doubt, disabling surveillance infrastructure never hurts. Let's get to it.
Teacher handed a jar to a kid. Tap it every 15 seconds is what he forbid. He made a bill with the kids who never paid mine. They stayed by the whole place and they could breathe behind. They watch him chug a whole glass of milk and water. Just to make a fool of himself in the show. The students just wanted to see him make the fool. So they put together for once they followed him. But it was some who tried to cause a little man. The others shut them down. They did their best. It's time to give me some weird fun. On thought the good times were staying. Principal said everything. Dark said no. Give him much time, he had no choice but to back up and go. Head to New York with nowhere else to show. New York, he met the hardest class. He seen 6 teachers had quit. The kids weren't mean on the very first day. They walked in the toughest books on the floor in the show. Kids while looking down nothing like the honors next door. Order, talk to the court. A lady teacher said, whoa. I was in the tiger room. He was in a bottle out that door. He fight for this. But walked the next morning, he was wrong. The room was a battlefield, chaos and defiance. They fought back hard, no hit no compliance. Nobody owned what they had done. His heart was in peace, and he thought he had won. He stormed out of school, angry and torn. For the very first time, he wished he'd never been born. But a friend's words hit him like a spark in the night. He picked up his courage, he stepped back in the light. He studied what they loved to do. And Taylor is the break through the little tool. But the principal didn't like what he saw. Brought him to the house, said you're breaking the law. You're ruining the river, to cut his whole school. Hard put a Mac down and inside his room. He made a bet with the principal that day. 6 months from now, every kid passes, that's what I say. The principal asked, said it couldn't be done. You're dreaming, Mr. Clark, you're the only one. Back in the classroom, he told him to go. An impossible target that challenged their soul. He said, being looked down on feels like being swallowed by dark. But being in the dark only means you are the spark. If you want your future, stand up and ignite. A candle at a time, step into the light. One by one, students walked up to the flame. Each lighting a candle, no two are the same. In that very moment, they started to believe that Mr. Clark was the miracle they could receive. Day after day, he pushed through the grind. The students respected him, they left the trouble behind. Grades went up every week, the numbers were clear. But the long working hours whispered danger near. Less than a month left till the final exam. He couldn't give up now, he was doing all he could. Pushing past limits, Mr. Clark finally broke his body gave in. The students thought he was moving first, but when he did a move, the silence burst. They watched the ambulance, they come away from it all. On the window, they stood there staring. The doctor examined them, handed the bomb. He delivered the news, never nobody forbid. He made a bed with the kids who never paid mine. Then they stayed by the old classy legal grade behind. They watching Chuck.
It's okay, we get it too much. Gravity makes it fall down.
Shamika realized this time it wasn't a joke. Mr. Clark had really passed out. The ambulance came quickly and took him away. She truly hoped he'd be okay, because Clark had given her a new kind of life. A few days earlier, during a home visit, Shamika's mom had caught him. So she went to the school and tried to get him fired.
Please don't try, Mr. Clark. He's just trying to help me, Mom.
It's okay.
Please don't leave me alone, Mr. Clark.
Clark insisted Shamika was gifted. He begged her mom not to bury her under endless chores. Her mom didn't believe her daughter could be that special, but Clark promised that if Shamika passed the May exam, she'd get into the best middle school. It swayed her.
From then on, Clark pushed himself even harder. It wasn't necessary to get to it. He wanted everything in class to happen. His body was rough. Right before the exam, he collapsed on the boat. The doctor reported him to rest. The boat was given. The boat was thrown more or less than the rest. It was called failure. Listen closely. They were all the principal was summoned. A week later, Clark returned to class. But what he found broke his heart. Shamika thought he had abandoned her, so she slipped back into her old ways, ignoring lessons and skipping homework. Clark was furious.
You guys have 1 week for those great exams. You guys don't have any points on it.
The truth was, Shamika and the others had been treated like failures for so long, they didn't know how to believe in themselves. But under Clark's guidance, they had already come so far, they just hadn't noticed. On exam day, Shamika was still scribbling out a problem at the door. Clark looked even more nervous than she did. Once the test began, a strange calm washed over her. She knew the answers, and for the first time in her life, she actually felt prepared. The exam went smoothly. Seeing the kids' confidence, Clark finally relaxed. Before results came out, he held a little ceremony, handing out awards.
Tested higher than any other class.
Kids cheered for themselves. Clark was beaming with pride as he saved the biggest award for Shamika. She had taken first place in the entire district, scoring perfect marks in both math and English. Overwhelmed, Shamika threw her arms around her.
I cannot believe it.
For always being there.
Just know about this guy. Look at these fish. Nice face, great commander. A little small.
We voted
4
you.
stars. A little small.
Baddest teacher
4
except
stars. I will not let it get to me. I will not let it get to me. Commander, I reconfigured the storm shield for expansion. I was real angry when I did it, so who knows how that's gonna turn out. But if it melts down and kills us, I do not care. At least we'll be taking the big H-42 along for the ride. You hear me, buddy?
okay, we get it, Mr. Clark. Gravity makes it fall down.
Oh, I should feel more worried.
Reset.
Why that shit? I'm buying that really great. Yeah, I hate it too, because it seems like there's some factors in the world. It seems like there is some sort of event that happens where magnetic poles change. And that's impossible. That's what makes you freak out. That's possible. Like all of a sudden, the Earth just does a gyro and it spins on its head. And then what happens? And what's the environment like? What's the temperature outside now?
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
Right. See that?
All of a sudden you're in northern Alaska when you used to live in Florida.
And I think we
You
can.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude.
like that temperate
Make it out of
environment
that place.
changes like that.
Happens like that all over the seasons.
Like, what does he do? What are shifts?
Well, we act like
Do we know?
we act like we know. We don't know shit about what's going on inside here. We don't know. We don't know what's going on in there.
It's like freaking me out.
Because I think about this all the time.
Trying to evolve from.
Person left inside of our Earth.
Isn't it?
How do they not? Do they not know?
Dude, I think that we have to just accept the fact that, probably that's the truth, but since we barely know what's under the ocean, we sure as fuck don't know what's under the earth.
Well, we definitely know that lava keeps popping out in Hawaii.
We know that?
Right? So we know that under the surface, that whole idea of the magma and everything seems real.
And when there's earthquakes, you can look at the
It pops through.
you can look at the waves from the earthquakes. You can see sort of like the structure under the earth. And,
Yeah.
but we can't, God, what's the name of that hole that Russia tried to dig? I love every once in a while going to look at that deepest hole.
Yeah, they tried to go to hell.
I know. They
It's like that movie. What was that? The Matthew McConaughey movie, the Dragon movie? And they accidentally dug out a dragon.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, bro, it was fun. It was so fun. It was a good movie. Kola Super Deep. Russian horror film, The Super Deep. Kola Super Deep was a Russian designation for a set of super deep boreholes conceived as a part of the Soviet scientific research program in the 1960s. How deep did they go?
12,226 meters.
Oh.
And
How many feet is a mile? So it's miles into the ground.
Yeah.
1989 miles. Just being in an elevator, it's definitely miles. Claustrophobia you get, like a stone cut out of the ground.
you're a fucking communist out there too. You're a hardcore communist just drilling deep down into the earth. And then imagine if all of a sudden air just starts coming out. You realize you pop the earth. It's just like, that's amazing. Oh, what is it? It's
22 miles deep.
22 miles deep. Yeah, microscopic plankton fossils were found 3.7 miles below the surface.
What?
Yeah, we don't know what's down there. Boiling mud. Boiling fucking mud.
You know the drill. We're ready to expand again. When you're ready to start the fight, select Expand Shield from the Storm Shield console.
You buy into that shit?
I buy into that a little bit. Yeah.
I hate it.
I hate it too because it seems like there's some accuracy to it. There seems like there is some sort of an event that happens when the magnetic poles switch. And that's something classified. That's what makes you freak out. You're like, what do you mean that's possible? Like all of a sudden, the Earth just does a gyro.
Here we go! Shield power increasing.
What's the environment?
Yeah.
What's the temperature outside now?
Yeah. Well, exactly. See that?
All of a sudden, you're in the northern Alaska. You used to live in Florida.
And I think we can get a vehicle. Yeah,
Like that's
all of the seals are. Yeah, it's
wave coming soon.
Jet.
Prepare for an attack from the east.
It's been caught out of the ground.
Yeah. You're a fucking communist out there too. You're a hardcore communist just drilling down into the earth. And then imagine if all of a sudden air just starts coming out. You realize you can top the earth. Like, what's in there? And it's 22 miles deep. 22 miles deep. Yeah. It's fucking stuff with plankton. Off the time. It's like 7 miles below the surface. So yeah. Yeah. Almost down there. Microscopic plankton is frozen for fact 3.7 miles below the surface.
Imagine it's 2 a.m. The EMC flash out of your sense. Still doing
Dear God, please help. I would sit it down. Dear God, please help. Winter is 8 nights of the plus. I would sit
This is the recommendations that came from the simulation that ran last year about having energy crisis. So the stage of soft controls, public messaging, instant hunting, current, deal with non-essential trips. business asked to reduce consumption voluntarily. We've already seen this.
Over coming weeks, if you can switch to catching the train or bus or tram to work, do so.
Allocation. This is already planned. Emergency services, hospitals and healthcare, freight and utilities.
Saves fuel for people who have no choice but to drive. Farmers and miners and tradies who need diesel.
Number 3, fuel companies directed on where the supply goes. Limit on bulk buyers, commercial usage, and redirecting fuel from non-essential sectors. So we haven't reached that point yet. It's where the rationing comes in. Fuel rationing, purchase limits, per transaction, limits per person per week, restricting fuel sales to essential workers and approved industries, and in extreme cases, voucher or sales systems, even under digital ID, system where you can scan your QR code, for example, and mobiles response to government threat fuel distribution network.
You don't fucking know that. Take that out with your fucking lawyers and take it on this fucking thing.
That was always, that
Don't
gives
use
that
that fucking
line.
She's one of the ones that if you want to say fucking code fucking done. Don't fucking do this.
You could argue this is orchestrated to create a situation, or you could say this is taking advantage of a situation to implement changes that they making. It doesn't matter. That different currency is going to come in
just because you know what you fucking say.
It's our way of helping you as a citizen. I know you're supposed to. So here is a subsidy, but you can only have it if you have a digital ID that's attached to this digital currency, and then you're going to be able to what you can and can't spend it on, when you can spend it. But I am not taking away now. These recommendations that came from the simulations that they ran last year about having a fuel energy crisis. So early stage will be soft controls. Public messaging is to cut fuel use, encourage working from home, fewer non-essential trips. Business asked to reduce consumption voluntarily. We've already seen this.
And over coming weeks, if you can switch to catching the train or bus or tram to work.
I don't like being alone, 'cause I don't know what I might do. It's depressing, yeah, I know, but you don't know this song. I've been waiting for a plateau, my nose inside you. Been stressing so much, I probably shouldn't smoke the way I do. God, I know more than I'm letting on. Scripture and Rosetta Stone. Pray the world get him my final message for him, dead and gone. I don't do no friends, but I lose it for my mans. Get my brother out that jam before he do some shit that get him gone. Broke it like they did him wrong. Lies to the face of the dome. I was out there 16, dreaming, crying, missing home. Fake niggas in my face talking about a team.
Y'all want to hear some real scary stories? I can tell you some stuff that keeps me awake at night. In fact, it's some of the main reasons why I can't sleep. I'm an expert in my life, have a wildlife education field. You've never imagined. Last few days was pretty rough. Figure out a sheep or a cow or a horse needs to be euthanized. The legal euthanasia method on a farm is one bullet to the head. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and give you all a warning. Be disturbed by some of this. I went to this happened a long time ago, and I still think about it just randomly. We're all like, have a dream about it. Very old. It has terminal illness. She was way too big, heavy to move, so we walked her over to where we'd already pre-dug a hole. Okay, now it's time to put her down. We had her right next to the hole. I administered a bullet, and it was 100% on the money. Exactly where that bullet was supposed to go, right next to her, point blank. She looked up at me with blood pouring out of every orifice in her face, and then looks back down and just starts eating the grass like nothing had ever happened. She continued to eat grass for the next 10 minutes before it was like somebody turned the lights out and she just went over. Are you familiar with what a kookaburra is? The little bird, you know, the little kid book, Kookaburra and the Kookaburra Tree? One man's eye out for, right in front of us. On his shoulder, he turned to look at it. It just so happened to be turning to look at him at the exact same time. As we both turned, its teeth went right to his eyeball, and the tips of the beaks are pretty sharp, and it pierced his eyeball, and out of a reaction, it grabbed hold as hard as it could, and it yanked his eyeball right out. It was so fast. I went saw a rope around its ankle, and it was even like it didn't feel like it just went around its ankle for a second. Once it stuck, it didn't fight and freak out. First thought was, hey, better bite the leg off. Okay? We obviously stopped that from happening. We took it to the vet. It had to be stitched up. It had to be taken care of. But the amount of anxiety I get from letting animals have a plethora of toys, especially toys that are ropes, is now terrifying. I get such anxiety anytime we give animals new toys they've never had before, so we keep it simple. That's the kind of fear that I have. It's like the wild stuff that I know can happen, and I've seen happen, you wouldn't be able to even fathom or guess, because it's so illogical, it doesn't even make sense. This rope, it entrapped this wreck in any way, shape, or form. It just went around its foot, it freaked it out, and it immediately went to go bite its own leg off. That fast, that quick. The amount of people that I've seen be almost decapitated by a horse is astounding. I almost attacked by a cow. This is my great uncle, by the way, was actually cut in half by a cow that stepped on him, rolled on him, would not stop stopping him. So that much weight are incredibly heavy, and then eventually severed his upper half from his lower half. I've seen a horse actually jogging across it, and it steps over a tree ring under the horse's immense weight, hit it in the abdomen. I just perfect 1 in a million right angles, where the stick actually went into its stomach. The horse then removed the stick from its stomach, and its intestines fell out. But then it panicked, and the horse is running as fast as they do, well over 40 miles an hour, actually just kept dragging its intestines around the whole field. There was at least 60 feet of intestines, stuff just drug around the field, still connected on the other end of the horse. The intestines are obviously entangled in every little stick and brush that it passes by. I grew up on a humongous cattle farm out in Tennessee. We saw a cow get struck by lightning one time, and we were picking up the cow for like 2-3 weeks. It was like somebody just put a grenade inside of it. It exploded. But, you know, I guess it's better than the alternative. One time there was lightning that hit the ground, and it killed the 20 to 30 cows that were around when the lightning strike hit. You see some weird stuff. Also saw lightning hit a tree. The tree exploded and turned the bark into the tree like the main shrapnel, and pretty much no animals died. But the amount of cleanup and onesie that you're having to do for all the cows that were around that tree when you got hit by lightning was incredible. Now these cows had access to barns, but they don't go in them if they don't want to. And when you're talking about hundreds of acres, it's not like you can just go round them up if it's like storm or bad weather. It's like you literally could not find them all. We saw a guy holding a Gucci monkey on his shoulder one time. He had a little leash for it, and like, I don't even know what it did. It like grabbed something it wasn't supposed to grab. He kind of scolded it, and it slapped him in the head and bit the top half of his ear off. On the same hand, I've also seen those marmoset monkeys, you know, the finger monkeys that you put on your finger. I saw one guy have one of those as a pet. He'd had it his whole life. He'd raised it. But one day, just for whatever reason, no one knows, it just climbed up on him and it bit his whole earlobe off. So that whole chunk right there of an earlobe, gone. Y'all want to hear some real scary stories? I can tell you some stuff that keeps me awake at night. In fact, some of the main reasons why I can't sleep. If y'all didn't know, I'm a wildlife expert. Me and my wife have a wildlife education facility. But I've seen the most cruel, disturbing things to work with animals you could ever imagine. The last few days have been pretty rough, so I figured y'all were talking about it with some of y'all. Alright, so you know when a sheep or a cow or a horse decides to be with the nation that's on a farm and wanting to put it in the head? Alright. But then one way y'all don't want to be disturbed by some of this. I'm going to tell you what it's like really to see these things, okay? This happened a long time ago, and I still think that it's just randomly, or I'll like have to think about it like this. So there was a sheep, it's very old, and it had
that would be nice.
Suffering. They had called their reputation was through down. She was way too big to move, so we walked her over to where we'd already pre-dug a hole.
Hello?
Now it's time to put her down. We had her underneath the hole.
Hello?
I finished with one.
Does anyone have any spare
Sheriff found
guns?
the money. Exactly where that was
I had to make a
supposed
new account. Anyone have spare guns? Hello?
I'm just collecting shit.
All good. Yo, Noah. Do you got spare guns?
I got no spare guns. I got no
I'm
ammo for
talking to
anything.
Noah.
Does it
I'm
look like
talking
I give a
to
shit?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
don't be
asking,
so
dude. No
fucking
need to
rude,
be
cunt.
rude.
Cunt, if you're gonna be
Don't
fucking
be
rude, you can
rude.
get the fuck out of my server.
Don't be
Fucking
so
little
mean,
punk
dude.
ass bitch.
Go get a life.
Man, I don't give a fuck,
All I did
man.
was ask a question.
No, you were fucking rude. Fucking my baby mama being rude to me all day. I don't need it from a bunch of fucking teenagers. Fuck off.
Right,
did
I
I
don't give a
do?
shit. Go get some other guns.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Fucking punk ass cunts.
right next to her, point blank. She looked up at me with blood pouring out of every orifice in her face, and then looks back down and just starts eating her grass like nothing had ever happened. She continued to eat grass for the next 10 minutes before it was like somebody turned the lights out and she just went over. Are you familiar with what a kookaburra is? The little bird? You know, down before. Right in front of us. It was on his shoulder. He turned to look at it. It just so happened to be turning to look at him at the exact same time. As we both turned, its beak went right into his eyeball. And the tips of the beaks are pretty sharp, and it pierced his eyeball. And out of a reaction, it grabbed on as hard as it could, and it yanked. It yanked his eyeball right out. Immediately. So fast. I once saw a raccoon get a rope around its ankle, and it wasn't even like a big deal. Like, it just went around its ankle for a second. It wasn't stuck. It didn't fight, freak out. But its immediate first thought was, hey, you better bite the leg off. Okay? We obviously stopped that from happening. Because of that, have to be stitched up, but the amount of anxiety I get from letting animals have a plethora of toys, especially toys that are ropes, is now terrifying. I get such anxiety. Anytime we give animals we food they never have before, so we keep it simple. That's the kind of fear that I have. It's like, you know, with the wild stuff that I know can happen, and I've seen happen, you wouldn't be able to fathom or guess because it's so illogical. It doesn't even make sense. This rope didn't entrap this raccoon in any way, shape, or form. It just went around its foot, it freaked it out, and it immediately went to go bite its own leg off. That fast, that quick. The amount of people that I've seen be almost decapitated by a horse is astounding. My own uncle was actually cut in half by a cow. This is my great uncle, by the way. Was actually cut in half by a cow that stepped on him, rolled on him, and would not stop stomping him. Their hooves, under that much weight, are incredibly heavy, and eventually severed his upper half from his lower half. I've seen a horse casually jogging across the field, and it stepped over a broken tree branch. The tree branch under the horse of immense weight in the abdomen. That just turned into 1 million right angle. But the stick actually hit the stomach. The horse then removed the stick from
We
the
can't kill each other, you retard.
As fast as they can, 40 miles an hour, actually just kept dragging its intestines around the whole field. There was at least 60 feet of intestines stuffed and drug around the field. Still connected on the other end of the horse. The intestines are obviously entangled in every little stick and brush that it passes by. I grew up on this cattle farm out in Tennessee. We saw cows struck by lightning one time, and we were picking up pieces of cows for like 2-3 weeks. It was like somebody just put a grenade inside of it. It exploded. I guess the better thing alternative. One time there was lightning that hit the ground and it killed 20 to 30 cows that were around where somebody tried to get and stuff. Also, lightning hit the tree. The tree exploded, turned the bark into a tree like a made shrapnel, and pretty much no animals died. But the amount of cleanup and wound care you were having to do for all the cows that were around that tree when it got hit by lightning was incredible. Now, these cows had access to waters. They don't go live if they don't want to. And when you're talking about hundreds of acres, it's not like you can just go round them up at the slightest storm or bad weather. And you literally could not find them all in time. We saw a guy with a monkey on his and like, I don't even know what he did. It like grabbed something that wasn't supposed to grab. He kind of scolded it, and it slapped him in the head, and then bit the top half of his ear off. Marmoset monkeys, you know, the finger monkeys that you do. I saw one guy had one of those dead. He had its own pipe. He had raised it. One day, just for whatever reason, no one knows, he just climbed up on him and bit his whole earlobe off. So that whole chunk right there of an earlobe, done. If y'all want to hear some real scary stories, I can tell you some stuff that keeps me awake at night. In fact, some of the main reasons why I can't sleep. If y'all didn't know, I'm a wildlife expert. Me and my wife have a wildlife education facility. But I've seen some of the most cruel, disturbing things work with animals that you could ever imagine. The last few days have been pretty rough, so I figured I would talk about it with some of y'all. Alright, so you know when a sheep or a cow or a horse is euthanized, illegal euthanasia method on a farm to get one bullet in the head. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and give you all a warning if you don't want to be disturbed by some of this. I'm going to tell you what it's like to really do some of the things. Okay? This happened a long time ago, and I still think about it randomly. Before I'll like have a dream about it or a nightmare. So there was a sheep, it was very old, and it had a terminal illness, it had multiple surgeries on it, it was suffering. That caused me a recommendation was to put her down. She was way too big and heavy to move, so we walked her over to where we'd already redug the hole. Okay, now it's time to put her down. We had her right next to the hole. I administered the bullet. It was 100% on the money, exactly where that bullet was, you know, right next to it. Point blank. She looked up at me, blood pouring out every orifice of her face, and then looks back down, just starts eating the grass, like nothing had ever happened. She continued to eat grass for the next 10 minutes, before it was like somebody turned the lights out, and she just went over. Are you wondering what a kookaburra is? Bird, you know, the little kid book, kookaburra, plucked a man's eye out before. Right in front of us. On his shoulder. He turned to look at him. It just so happened to be turning to look at him at the exact same time. As they both turned, its beak went right to his eyeball. And the tips of the beaks are pretty sharp, and it pierced his eyeball. And out of a reaction, it grabbed hold as hard as it could, and it yanked. It yanked his eyeball right out. Immediately. So fast. I once saw a raccoon get a rope around its ankle, and it wasn't even like a big deal. Like, it just went around its ankle for a second. It wasn't stuck. It didn't fight. It didn't break out. But its immediate first thought was, hey, better bite the leg off. Okay. We obviously stopped that from happening. We took it to the vet. It had to be stitched up. It had to be taken care of. But the amount of anxiety I get from letting animals have a plethora of toys, especially toys that are ropes, is now terrifying. I get such anxiety anytime we give animals new toys we've never had before, so we keep it simple. That's the kind of fear that I have. Like, the wild stuff that I know can happen, and I've seen happen, you wouldn't be able to even fathom or guess, because it's so illogical, it doesn't even make sense. This rope didn't entrap this raccoon in any way, shape, or form. It just went around its foot, it freaked it out, and it immediately got its own leg off. That fast, that quick. The amount of people that I've seen be almost decapitated by a horse is astounding. My own uncle was actually cut in half by a cow. This is my great uncle. Was actually cut in half by a cow that stepped on him, rolled on him, and then would not stop stomping him. So that much weight are incredibly heavy, and eventually severed his upper half from his lower half. I have seen a horse casually jogging across the field, and it stepped over a broken free range. The free range, under the horse's immense weight, hit it in the abdomen at just the perfect 1 in a million right angle, where the stick actually went into its stomach. The horse then removed the stick from its stomach, and its intestines fell out. And then the horse was running as fast as they do, well over 40 miles an hour, actually just kept dragging its intestines around the whole field. There was at least 60 feet of intestines stuck, just drug around the field. Still connected on the other end of the horse. These intestines are obviously getting tangled in every little stick and brush that it passes by. I grew up on a humongous cattle farm out in Tennessee. We saw a cow get struck by lightning one time, and we were picking up pieces of cows for like 2-3 weeks. It was like somebody just threw a grenade inside of it. It exploded. But you know, that's, I guess that's the alternative of one time there was lightning that hit the ground and it killed the 20 to 30 cows that were around where the lightning strike hit. You see some weird stuff. Also saw lightning hit a tree. The tree exploded and turned the bark into the tree like grenade shrapnel, and pretty much no animals died. But the amount of cleanup and wound care you were having to do for all the cows that were around that tree, when it got hit by lightning.
Shoot. Damn.
Yeah.
Shoot. Damn. Shoot. Damn. Shoot. Damn.
Diana.
Diana.
Oh, you just know this game already is going to have a very bad ending. You just know they're going to get real attached to each other and something bad's going to happen at the end.
Fuck it, I'm paid. Look, it be the body, fresh off the cage. I'm so the same. Minimum wage, trying to keep up, so they stalking my page. They do what I say, trying to get saved. They line up for me like they copy the J's. I'm trying to get right, so I can't age. Can't be jaded and shit. Got on right, fuck it, I'm paid. Look, it be the body, fresh off the cage. I'm so the same. Minimum wage, trying to keep up, so they stalking my page. They do what I say, trying to get saved. They line up for me like they copy the J's. I'm trying to get right, so I can't age. Can't be jaded and shit.
Whoa! Ooh, those prongs look sharp. Enjoy! Okay, pretenders, ready? So what's happening? What? Hey, what you doing? That one. And now